he knew a lot of times, like he knew he'd end up back at WWE because he knew that the match everybody wanted to see was Beauty and the Beast, which was Hulk Hogan and,
Bruiser
of
Brody.
course, Bruiser Brody.
Uh-huh.
You know, he knew that, but he knew he wanted to kind of finish Japan first because he knew WWE. He knew because I remember Vince Senior used to call the house all the time, and this was way back. And Frank already knew that things would change. You know, things would change once Senior was out and Junior was in, and he knew that especially they would want him. They wanted him to lose. You know, I mean, I'm talking about Bruiser. Bruiser
Yes.
would have been great. That was this is what they all wanted him to do. They wanted him to take the fall before it was time because he knows you have to. It's going to come at some point. You're going to have to take the fall.
Yes.
But he wanted to do it in his own way, knowing that would be the right time.
Barbara, I'm curious, did Frank ever have any talks about negotiations with Vince?
I'm sure through different people. Yeah, he knew that was going to be his last thing, his last hurrah, kind of. You know, as he was getting out of wrestling, he knew that he talked about that Hogan and him and with the WWE that it would come eventually.
He pretty much knew that would happen.
Yeah. He was keeping that for kind of probably the last hurrah, you know, to do that. And then he knew that he would have to put him over. There wasn't absolutely nothing, but he didn't want to do that until Japan was near enough finished. Because back then they were the Japanese, because Stan and you know, Frank was starting to get older too at this stage.
Right.
So that he knew, and they were already bringing in the Road Warriors. The Road Warriors were going to be the next tag team. You know what I mean? After, you know, Bruiser and Stan. But it's so weird. The Japanese still contact me. I've just been a couple of times. They still contact me because they're still doing merchandise of Bruiser and Stan over there. They've got some big show coming up this year. Oh, wow. And they wanted permission to do some, you know, some T-shirts and some other merchandise and that. So I feel that he is still very popular in Japan as well.
That is one of those. That is one of those countries that they honor their athletes, especially as they get older. They really they revere and they honor them, and it's I mean, you look at like what they've done for like Antonio Inoki and that. I mean, they've had great retirement matches for him. I always thought the most comical aspect is the fact that he slaps people and people line up to get cuffed by him. Like, well, that's good for you. I'm trying to keep what marbles I still have left in my head.